Have you ever wondered how a car globally recognized today as Hollywood's ultimate time machine is in reality just a ghost of a dead company that went bankrupt and vanished entirely? In this video, I am going to tell you the shocking story of the DeLorean. What does a sci-fi blockbuster have to do with a terrifying federal trial that cost $1 million? And how did it end with its brilliant creator standing in front of the press, freshly acquitted of trafficking $24 million worth of cocaine, only to sarcastically ask them, "Would you buy a used car from me?" We will explore how the British government permanently padlocked his factory on the exact same day of his arrest, evaporating $100 million in investments and destroying 2,500 jobs, right after the company's desperate failed plot to force 343 dealerships to buy its unsold inventory just to stay afloat. What made a car that was supposed to be an affordable dream, with an original target price of $12,000, end up costing more than double? How did it become more expensive than a Corvette or a Porsche, yet perform so miserably that it required 200 hours of grueling factory rework just to be legally sold? How did the vision of a cutting-edge rotary engine and a revolutionary lightweight chassis turn into an engineering Frankenstein of borrowed Lotus frames and French engines? And the biggest mystery of all, how could one of the most brilliant minds in automotive history, the rebel of General Motors, the father of the Pontiac GTO, a man with over 200 patents, drive his dream company into the ground less than 2 years after the first car rolled off the line? The story behind the scenes is crazier than fiction. Stick around until the end to uncover the shocking truth. John DeLorean was not an outsider chasing a naive dream. He was Detroit's ultimate rock star. He rose rapidly through the ranks of General Motors, managed both the Pontiac and Chevrolet divisions, and became vice president in 1972. He is credited with creating the legendary Pontiac GTO and the Firebird, holding more than 200 patents by his own account. But the corporate suits at GM couldn't contain his ambition. In 1973, he walked away from the biggest automaker in the world to build his own ultimate sports car, the DMC-12. The name directly referenced his original price target of $12,000. However, by the time it reached the market, the final retail price would become a nightmare, ballooning to more than double that figure. The car's iconic look, featuring unpainted stainless steel panels and futuristic gull-wing doors, hid an engineering process shaped by a series of desperate fallback decisions. DeLorean initially planned to use a centrally mounted, high-revving Wankel rotary engine. When that program unexpectedly collapsed, his team scrambled and replaced it with the PRV-V6, a lethargic 2.85-liter engine developed jointly by Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo. During development, the engine was even relocated, moving from a balanced mid-engine layout in the prototype to a heavy rear engine position in the production car. The chassis followed the exact same doomed pattern. DeLorean had purchased patent rights to an untested manufacturing process called elastic reservoir molding, ERM, intended to make the car's structure incredibly light and cheap to produce. The process completely failed. In a panic, the chassis was redesigned by Colin Chapman, the legendary founder of Lotus, using the same backbone frame architecture found in the Lotus Esprit. Ultimately, the structural foundation of the production car was not DeLorean's visionary original design, but a hasty replacement brought in to save a failing project. Performance figures from the period exposed a humiliating gap between the company's bold marketing claims and independent testing. 0 to 60 miles per hour. DMC stated the car could hit 60 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds. Road and Track measured a sluggish 10.5 seconds. Car and Driver tested multiple units, yielding wildly inconsistent results ranging from 9.5 to a painfully slow 14.1 seconds. Top speed. DMC's claimed top speed of 130 miles per hour was tested at roughly 110 miles per hour. Critics were brutal. Road and Track bluntly described the car as simply not quick for a sports car in its category. That price category was itself a massive problem. The car launched at around $25,000 during a severe economic recession. At a time when the average new car cost roughly $10,000, it was about 25% more expensive than the Corvette, the Datsun 280-ZX Turbo, and the Porsche 924 Turbo, all of which could easily leave the DeLorean in the dust. To make matters worse, early production units were plagued with catastrophic electrical and build issues, requiring up to 200 hours of rework at DMC's own quality assurance centers before they were fit to be sold to the public. The company's internal response to plummeting sales reads like a diary of a slow death. In February 1982, DMC entered receivership. In a desperate move in March, the company sent urgent telegrams to all 343 of its dealerships, practically begging each to purchase just 6 cars to keep the business alive. Not a single dealer placed an order. By the end of May, factory production had ground to a halt. In July, the company tried slashing prices alongside a 5-year/50,000-mile warranty backed by an insurance carrier, but sales remained flatlined. Bruce McWilliams, the company's vice president of marketing, resigned and stated the harsh truth. The car could never be sold in the numbers John DeLorean predicted. The final nail in the coffin was more cinematic than a Hollywood movie. On October 19, 1982, the British government announced it was permanently closing the DeLorean Motor Company. On that exact same day, John DeLorean was arrested in a Los Angeles hotel room in a massive FBI sting operation, caught on hidden cameras with a suitcase full of cocaine. He was charged with conspiring to traffic $24 million worth of the drug. At the time, his company needed an estimated $17 million just to remain solvent. The bankruptcy filing followed a week later. In the blink of an eye, 2,500 factory jobs were lost, along with more than $100 million in taxpayer and private investments. DeLorean's trial began in April 1984 and became a total media circus. It lasted 5 months and cost roughly $1 million. His high-powered defense argued entrapment, successfully convincing the jury that federal informant James Hoffman had aggressively targeted DeLorean specifically because of his extreme financial vulnerability, and that the FBI's testimony fell apart under cross-examination. On August 16, 1984, after 30 hours of deliberation, the jury shocked the nation by acquitting DeLorean on all 8 charges. Walking out a free man, he told reporters, "Praise the Lord." When asked if he intended to return to the auto industry, he delivered his infamous line, "Would you buy a used car from me?" Total production of the DMC-12 across its brief run is generally estimated at around 9,000 units. The exact figure remains a mystery because company records were lost or scattered when the business imploded. Yet the ultimate irony happened 3 years later. The DMC-12 became a global cultural phenomenon through its starring role in Back to the Future, long after the company that built it had turned to dust. The factory was empty, the workforce was gone. The vehicle John DeLorean had proudly pitched as safe, sustainable, and built to last is remembered today primarily for 2 things: its association with a scandalous federal drug case, and as the most iconic fictional time machine ever built.